what are some, I mean, first the challenges, the biggest challenges for a founder in this space, in the Web3 space, and blockchain space, and also advice. What advice would you give founders and creators, somebody that maybe is like you that wants to build tools for creators in the blockchain?
I think the hardest, the hardest part about operating in the Web3 space is how cyclical it is. Um, because, and I'll describe my journey a little bit, which is, 2020, we start the company and nobody really cares, right? Artists are not that interested in using the blockchain, and it's pretty, um, we're really out there, on the frontier, and not a lot of people are interested. All of a sudden, 2021, everybody's interested, right? And it's complete kind of chaos, and there's a lot of impatience and frustration, and desire to kind of just get rich quick. And then
Mm.
and then obviously we go back to then, once the market kind of calms down, lots of people leave, and it's kind of everyone gets dejected again, and they're less interested. And I think, like, to be an entrepreneur in this space is really to kind of step away from these sort of cyclical movements and be long term focused. And so I think it doesn't really matter if you're an entrepreneur, a creator, a collector, any of these archetypes. You have to go, if you're going to be successful, you're going to have a long term vision for what you're doing, because
Yeah.
you can't time the market. The market's going to go up, the market's going to go down. It's really not signal in any way that's giving you, like, kind of grounding. Like, people thought they were geniuses, 2 years ago, and now they think they're total failures, and
Mm.
that's too volatile to kind of make progress. So, my advice is, I think, building during the bear market's probably the best time.
Mm.
Um, it's really where you're going to connect with what you're trying to do and really understand it, and be very disciplined about it. And then during the bull, it's like you also have to be disciplined in a different way, which is, probably things are going to happen that you actually had very little to do with, and you can't get too confident or
Mm.
too arrogant. It'll really kind of come back to bite you. So that's really the challenge, I think, of working in the space. And then, if my advice is really just be very long term oriented and find other people that are long term oriented. I think it gets really dangerous when people surround themselves that are kind of getting caught in the frenzy. You know,
Mm.
we've really been very intentional about the culture we've built at Foundation. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a trading venue. It's really like, people there understand that we're building tools for artists and curators and collectors. That digital art is a fundamental, part of the art landscape now. It's probably going to be the fastest growing part of the art landscape. And um, we're committed to that, right? And the market's going to go up and it's going to go down, but every year, every couple of years, you'll see the market just be much bigger. And, Cal, I'll remind you, is like, when I first started the company, I think, like, less than $1 million of digital art was sold, right? So
Yeah.
there really was no market to begin with. And so people often now say we're in a bear market, but that market's like 100 times bigger than what was there originally. And so I think that's going to be
Yeah.
true in the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yeah. No, that's I mean, great advice. I think it applies, as you said, not only for founders, also for artists and collectors, as you said. So
Not just for entrepreneurs, it's also
yeah.
for, you know, I think of artists and curators, and, even yourself, Kalo, like, with the gallery and everything, like, yeah, this is the advice I'd give to you, which is, you can't just start the gallery and expect it to work right away.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to build relationships and credibility, and build an eye, and these things they're not overnight.